Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Me Before You film. Me Before You is a 2016 romantic drama film directed by Thea Sharrock in her directorial debut, and adapted by English author Jojo Moyes from her 2012 novel of the same name. The film stars Emilia Clarke, Sam Claflin, Steve Peacocke, Jenna Coleman, Charles Dance, Matthew Lewis, Janet McTeer, Vanessa, Kirby and Joanna Lumley. Set in the UK, the film is shot in various historic locations around the country, including Pembroke Castle in Wales and Chenies Manor House in Buckinghamshire, England. The film was released on June 3, 2016 in the US, received mixed reviews on Metacritic, and grossed $207 million worldwide. Plot: 26-year-old Louisa Clarke is a happy, outgoing woman who lives with and supports her working-class family. After losing her job at a local cafe, she is hired as the caregiver of Will Traynor, a former successful banker and once active young man who became paralyzed after being involved in a motorcycle accident 2 years prior. Louisa has no experience, but Will's mother believes her cheery personality will help lift his spirits. Will only spends time with Nathan, his nurse, who assists with his care, exercise and movement, and knows that he will never regain use of his body due to the damage to his spinal cord. Cynical and depressed because he can no longer live an active life, he initially reacts coldly to Louisa's upbeat demeanor and treats her with contempt. After 2 weeks, Will has a visit from his former best friend Rupert and ex-girlfriend Alicia, who reveal that they are engaged. Will manages to smash all the photographs on his dresser in anger and indignation, which Louisa tries to repair the next day, leading to a verbal altercation, during which Louisa chastises him for being an ass. The next day, Will asks Louisa to watch a film with subtitles with him and she accepts. The two begin to bond, and eventually become close friends. Louisa and Will continue to talk daily. She learns that he is cultured and worldly, having traveled extensively. In contrast, her life so far has been simple, without many interests or hobbies, or travel away from home. Her long-term boyfriend Patrick is training to take part in a Viking triathlon in Norway, a hobby that he often chooses over spending time with her. Will urges Louisa to broaden her horizons and tells her that it's her responsibility to live life as fully as possible, while taking care of him. During one of his occasional illnesses, Louisa notices Will's scarred wrists from a previous suicide attempt. While at work one day, Louisa overhears an argument of Will's parents, and she learns that Will has given his parents 6 months before checking in to Dignitat in Switzerland for assisted suicide. Will refuses to accept life with a disability that entails dependency, pain and suffering, without any hope for recovery of his old self. Louisa then takes it upon herself to change his mind. She organizes various trips and adventures to show Will that life is worth living. Despite his disability, Will gradually becomes more communicative and open to her plans. The pair attends the horse racing with disastrous consequences, and a few days afterwards goes to a Mozart concert. Will then decides to attend Alicia's wedding and asks Louisa to accompany him. At the wedding, Louisa and Will enjoy offending the straight-laced guests. Louisa learns from the bride's godmother that she considers Will to be Alicia's one that got away. Will joins Louisa's family for dinner on her birthday, where they learn that Louisa's father had lost his job in a leveraged buyout that happened to have been organized by a younger associate of Will. Shortly thereafter, Louisa's father is offered the head of maintenance job at Stortfold Castle, which belongs to Will's family, and Louisa realizes that Will is trying to help her secure her freedom from her family. Gradually they develop strong feelings for one another, which makes Patrick jealous and causes problems in Louisa's long-standing relationship, leading to their breakup. During a luxurious trip to the island of Mauritius together, undertaken after another bout with pneumonia and with help from Will's male nurse, Will informs Louisa that he still intends to follow through with the euthanasia. He wants her to live a full life instead of half a life with him. He says their time together has been special, but he cannot bear to live in a wheelchair. He asks her to accompany him to Switzerland to be with him through his last moments. Heartbroken, she informs Will's parents upon arrival in London that she is quitting immediately and travels back to her home by bus. She does not speak to Will for the days that follow. However, at home, Louisa's father convinces her to go to Will in Switzerland. She finds out that he has already left for Switzerland and decides to go to Switzerland herself to be with Will in his final moments. A few weeks after Will's death, sitting in his favorite café in Paris, she rereads the letter Will left for her. In it, he encourages her to seek out a specific perfume shop and ends off the letter with "just live," which she can afford to do because he has left her enough money to follow her dreams. Production. On April 2, 2014, it was announced Thea Sharrock would direct the film. On September 2, 2014, Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin were cast in the film. Stephen Peacocke was cast on March 24, 2015, with Jenna Coleman and Charles Dance cast on April 2, 2015. On April 9, 2015, Janet McTeer joined the cast, and Brendan Coyle, Matthew Lewis, Samantha Spiro, Vanessa, Kirby, and Ben Lloyd Hughes joined the cast the next day. Filming. Principal photography began in April 2015 and ended on June 26, 2015. The film was shot in various locations in the UK, including Pembroke, Wales and Chenies Manor House, Chenies, Buckinghamshire, England for the wedding scenes, while Mallorca, Spain stands in for Mauritius. Box office. Me Before You grossed $56.2 million in North America and over $151.2 million in other territories, for a total of $207.4 million against a budget of $20 million. In North America, Me Before You opened on June 3, 2016 alongside pop star Never Stop Never Stopping and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, and was expected to gross around $15 million from 2,704 theaters in its opening weekend. The film grossed $1.4 million from its Thursday night previews and $7.8 million on its first day. In its opening weekend, the film grossed $18.3 million, finishing third at the box office behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows and X-Men: Apocalypse. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a rating of 58% based on 151 reviews. The average rating is 5.5/10. The site's critical consensus reads: Me Before You benefits from Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin's alluring chemistry, although it isn't enough to compensate for its clumsy treatment of a sensitive subject. On Metacritic, the film has a score of 51 out of 100 based on 36 critics indicating mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A to F scale. Controversy. The film has suffered a backlash from many people in the disability rights movement due to what they perceive as an underlying message that people with disabilities are a burden on their families and careers, and claim the film promotes the view that people are better off dead than disabled. They view the film as advocating suicide so that their loved ones can live boldly. The year before euthanasia backlash has been led by celebrities with disabilities such as Liz Carr, Penny Peppermix, Scarlett and Cherylee Houston, and Not Dead Yet UK in the UK, and Dominic Evans, Emily Laddie, and activists from Not Dead Yet in the US. Protests in the US occurred in Los Angeles, New York City, Boston, various locations in Colorado and Texas, Atlanta, Baltimore, Connecticut, Rochester, San Francisco, and multiple locations around the country. The film was also protested in Australia. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like